What's everybody? What's up, everybody? And welcome to the All Elite Wrap Up. Man, I don't know what we could talk about today.
What do you want to talk about?
What do you want to talk about? See, we got the same brain, Freems. Wow. Just finished All Out.
What shit! I thought we were here to talk about Payback.
Payback. Well, I watched that
No,
too.
I'm just kidding.
It's a really good show. Did you watch
it? It was good.
Way better than it deserved to be. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. Not as good as All Out.
No, I didn't say it was, but
no. I was just. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, you want to quick before we jump into All Out? Let's have a little conversation.
So tonight we're gonna have a little conversation.
Are we no longer allowed to use these drops, or can we still use them? What is your opinion on that, Freems?
With CM Punk stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks.
Yeah.
I think it's weird that there's like people like celebrating it. I found that odd.
Fuck them.
But that doesn't mean that it didn't have to be done either.
I don't disagree there either. I mean, listen, at this point, the way I look at it is it's time to put this whole thing in the past and just move forward. It was obviously never going to get better there for Punk. Granted, I'm not putting everything on his shoulders, but if the guy knew how to react and how to act, it never gets this far. Like, he could have been a big boy. He didn't have to go up to Jungle Boy Jack Perry, getting his face. You know, there's ways to work this out when you're adults, and he certainly did not act like a mature adult. Now, me and you are both Punk guys.
Yeah.
This is best for the company, and I like your shirt. I just realized what shirt you're wearing.
Oh, yeah, that's the one I got for free.
Yeah, it's an awesome shirt too. It's a shame because he added something to AEW on TV, but you know,
yeah, like I've said before, like for people to pretend like AEW gets better because of this, I think that's wild. Yeah, but I also don't think they're gonna get worse.
Oh, I agree
either.
Yeah, they're not getting worse, and you know what? They're gonna get better.
I think they're going to get better. I think they're going to get better not because of this.
Right.
Just they were going to get better regardless.
I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. You know, that whole William Regal story just broke tonight on the internet. I have no idea how much of it is true. I have
if any.
If any, I think it is because I saw Mr. Sean Ross Sapp or whatever the hell his name is. Is that his name? Oh, look who's here. Well, you're not working tomorrow, Stoney?
Labor Day. A lot of people are off.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. It's Labor Day. Yeah. I mean, Stoney, well, listen to this one. So this is coming from Body Slam. Cassidy Haynes via Body Slam. What? So let's put that out.
Oh, I was like, who's talking? I had the media scrum up.
Oh, we're confusing Freems over here. It says, so here's what the tweet said. An incident took place between CM Punk.
Sorry, I just saw Tony Khan blink. Never seen that before.
What a reaction. An incident took place between CM Punk and William Regal upon Regal's AEW debut. In the altercation in between the two, Punk refused to shake Regal's hand and would then get in Regal's face, telling him that he did not like him, did not trust him, and that Regal was a stooge for Triple H. This is coming from Body Slam. So let's just say that. I don't know how much of it's true. I don't think they're very, very reliable on their news. But if this is true, then yeah, goodbye. Like if that's just totally what it's about, and he was that, like, listen, we love Punk, but we never said he's not a dick. Like,
I don't know how much of it I believe.
Well,
I believe. I may have. Who hell? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to believe anymore because I don't believe. But listen, I still don't think with everything that's happened with Punk, and we're not going to harp on this the whole hour. We're going to get right into All Out.
Yeah, the good stuff.
Yeah.
I'm almost sick of it. I'm almost sick of it.
I agree. That's why I thought it was time for him to be fired. That's why, like, as much as I love him, it's time to separate and let's move on. Now, the thing that confuses me is why the hell does Tony Khan make the announcement yesterday at Collision and go on TV and cut a promo on it? Like, I started.
Well, I think. You see what I typed in the group chat?
No.
The reason why I think he did it is because he didn't want to get called out for waiting until after the event to talk about it, because it would look like to some people that he's putting up hope that CM Punk will be there to sell tickets to Chicago.
But he sent out a press release. He didn't need to come on TV and do that.
Not everyone's going to see the press release, though.
But that's on them. I think it made him look really bad to come on TV and do
I
that.
think that it made him look good. I
Good.
think there's too many rumors about him being a weak leader and a coward, and
I think it's
it takes a lot of balls to go out in front of a Chicago crowd and talk about.
Maybe you do it in front of the crowd, but you don't do it on TV. Like why? He never comments on the back locker room shit and personal stuff, and then he comes out and does this. Fuck that guy. I'm done with it.
I don't have as
Listen, this is mostly Tony Khan's fault because if he knew how to run a locker room and he knew how
I was going to say earlier when I was talking about seeing like it had to be done, it might not have had to have been done if shit was handled better.
Right. If he squished this as soon as it happened last year, it doesn't happen. And the leader, no help, canceling the meeting and never answering Punk's calls when he tried to reach out to them. But the whole thing, like him going at Khan, is out of his frustration probably for Khan letting this keep happening. Like, you know?
Yeah.
I don't really like, did he have to go? Yeah, but I don't know. I'm still not laying all the blame on Punk. But I think it was 100% the right move.
Yeah, like, it had to be done.
So, and if you want to hear more of the debate show, guys, tomorrow, it was dropped tonight on YouTube, and it's a fun episode that was recorded on Wednesday, where one of the topics was Punk, stay or go. He must not be blinking again. He isn't human. Here you go. Stoney McGee in the house. Look who's here. AEW fired back hard with All Out. A head turner of a card on paper, but over delivered. Hey, listen, I guess that was the theme of the weekend. Pay-per-views, premium live events, over delivering.
So when I was talking about Payback earlier, for example, I was more excited for Payback. Only reason being, I was like, there's no way AEW can put on that strong of a card a week after All In.
And they did.
And, hell yeah, they did.
Well, let's segue into this. It was announced tonight during the pay-per-view that October 1st, there's going to be another pay-per-view Wrestle Dream, which means, first of all, I can't wait to see the buy rates for tonight because I don't think they're going to be good. But now you're expecting fans to shell out $50 a weekend, 3 out of 6 weekends. Like, come on, Tony, what are you doing? Like
yeah,
that's insane. That is just totally insane. I don't know. Like listen, I think more AEW pay-per-views are a good thing, but can we space them out just a little better, please? Like a pay-per-view in maybe like January, the beginning of January, considering this goes usually from November to March without one, would have been kind of perfect.
Yeah. If they're going to be doing this many pay-per-views, they might set up something.
Well, maybe they go to Max eventually. We talked about this last week. Max is now set up to do live streaming, so maybe there's a deal coming down the line. I can't imagine like they're going to keep asking us to spend all this money, but again, we'll see next week. And we do have a wait a minute, hold on, what's going on here? What do we got?
You owe everyone an apology. You owe me an apology.
I don't know why I picked that one.
Oh my God! Look
at here.
This.
You owe me an apology.
Yeah.
You owe everyone here an apology.
What's up, Chad?
What's going on, guys?
You're already late. I already talked about how everything was AEW's fault and CM Punk did nothing wrong. No, that wasn't my take at all. I basically said he had to be fired. I mean, but I didn't want him to be.
What do you guys think about this shit? I know you probably already talked about it. I'm late to the party, but let's get into this shit. Let's give the viewers something to watch.
I said that as much as I still don't even think it's entirely Punk's fault. I think it just had to be done. It wasn't going to stop. All the nonsense backstage with him, and it just wasn't going to stop. It's best for both. Punk's got to be miserable being there, going through all this, and it just cleans out the locker room. Now, I will say this: Khan made this strong stance. He fired him, which is great, but they better hope nothing else happens in a locker room in the next month, 2 or 3. At like more drama, because then it just makes him look like a bigger buffoon than he already is. Like they've got to get their shit together and not let anything get out, even if it does.
I'll give you my take, Chad. I think this particular incident probably was CM Punk's fault. I would say the one thing I don't put completely on CM Punk is like it should have never gotten to this. Like if it should have been handled better starting a year ago. Hearing things like the Elite canceling that meeting, things like that, kind of like, what the fuck? Tony Khan should be like, no, you guys are going to fucking be there.
Right.
Could you imagine like being telling Vince McMahon like, nah, we're not going.
I didn't even
I
think of
think
that.
there's a lot of blame to be passed around.
Yeah.
First and foremost, I mean, you can't not blame Tony Khan.
Yeah.
100%.
Like you can't not blame this dude. If Brawl Out would have been nipped in the bud from the very beginning, there wouldn't have been all of this. Just I felt like it was constantly simmering. You know what I mean? Like any little thing, the fact that they never addressed it made it to the point where you split the locker room, where one side is going to pick this guy, one side's going to pick these guys. And anything that came up, everyone felt the need to run to the dirt sheets and tell them this is happening. So for that, I definitely put it on Tony Khan for not exposing some of this to the public, letting us know a little more. I get there's legalities. I get there's lawsuits probably between the elite camp and the Punk camp and all of that. But at the same time, it's like, dude, if you leave the fans in the dark on shit like this, you leave the door open for speculation. And that's all there's been for the last year is speculation. Who did what? Who did this? Is it a work? Is it a shoot? What's going on? But there's a lot of people to blame. There's Tony Khan. There's the talent in the back that keeps running to Sean Ross Sapp on Fightful to break stories. There's the elite. There's CM Punk. Everyone has a little bit of blame. Yeah. But you had to shit can that guy. I mean, come on.
Ultimately, no one made Phil Brooks do action, like physical action.
Yeah.
Like it's I get it at the same time. Like some things are worth getting fired for. I've worked in the coal mines where if a foreman got in someone's face, he's probably getting punched. You know what I mean? Like, and if that's CM Punk's case, then hell yeah, brother. But you probably do gotta be let go. Same thing would happen to a coal miner.
I feel like we expected a lot from everybody involved. Like you look at the elite and you expect them to open the door to talk to Punk and figure this out.
Yeah.
And then you look at Punk and you expect him to, dude, if somebody like Jungle Boy says something about glass into the camera, be the leader and don't get so hot about it.
Exactly.
And then you look at Tony Khan and you think, hey man, step up and put a kibosh on this shit before it gets too out of hand. Like everyone who you expected to step above the nonsense and be the bigger man, no one did that.
Because I also get that kind of like where the elite and Omega are probably coming from. I don't know those dudes. They haven't said anything to me. Like, imagine if, like, for example, Sean Ross Sapp came to the Turnbuckle Tavern as a member, and he just started treating everyone like shit, like he was in charge and the boss of everyone. And then Chad and Sneed just let it happen. We would be kind of like, mother, you know what I mean? It's a little bit different because, but
I get
like,
your point, though. It's a good point.
The ship was heading in the right direction without Punk. So for him to come in and be like, I'm gonna start calling shots and I'm the leader and I'm the vet.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
I love CM Punk.
Me too.
Biggest fan. I love that he was a toy for Tony to play with. You know, when we think of the sandbox and being able to create storylines, having that CM Punk toy to create storylines is a pretty cool toy to play with. Like, oh shit, man, can you think of all the amazing matchups he can be in? But at the end of the day, when that toy can't be played with this toy, and I don't know, man. As much as I hate it, because I love him being a part of the roster, I thought he fit the brand. You know, he kind of anti-establishment. You thought he was tailor-made for AEW. And the fact that nothing really, it just seemed like more and more and more things kept happening. And
still had my favorite storyline on AEW so far.
I mean, the dog collar match was an iconic storyline.
Yeah,
those promos.
That's about it. I mean,
I love Punk, but if he's not gonna be the bigger man on his end and let people spout off at the mouth without retaliating, and it just felt to me it reached a point where it was never going to be back to normal until something big happened.
Yeah.
And even with Jungle Boy, like saying that into the camera, the fact that he felt compelled to say the glass line at All In, to me, that says like there is a portion of this locker room that will not let this go.
Right.
So I hate it. But if all of this is behind us and we can just get to stories and stop talking about this shit. I'm so tired of talking about this shit.
That's one of
You
the
know what I
things we
mean?
said before you came in.
How
Like,
many times have we had it on a debate show, a topic about?
Dude, CM Punk has been on the Turnbuckle Debate every Monday morning on Apple and Spotify. He's been a topic, I would say, since he joined the company. About every other week, there's a CM Punk topic.
100%.
You know who else I can't stand?
Who?
About 50%. Oh no, hold on. That's actually being too nice.
Come on, don't
About
be mean to Hawk.
75% of the internet wrestling community.
Yeah, oh, that's true.
That's not just the Punk lovers and the Punk haters. It's like people are incapable of nuance, and it's so funny, man.
I gotta be honest. Like the thing that's making me mad right now is this online kind of narrative where it's just doom and gloom for AEW.
Yeah.
Yeah. Idiots.
Things are so bad right now. You know, I don't know if they're gonna. This company did the best year it ever had. In my opinion, the best storyline this company ever had was the Belt Collector with Kenny Omega, Callis, the Bucks.
That was cool.
That was before Punk ever joined.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This company was aces before he ever joined. That's the reason he joined, is they were doing so well. He wanted to join. They're
So
going to be fine.
I'll give Punk some, and for people like Punk added nothing, I don't believe that because I'm one of the people. And I've talked about this before. I was not watching wrestling. I watched AEW, COVID hit, I started streaming. I went like 2 or 3 years without watching wrestling. CM Punk comes back to AEW and I'm hooked. Yep. I'm not going anywhere now that he's gone, but I'm here. And I'm sure there's a lot of people who have a similar story to mine.
That makes sense.
100%. Punk added everything, dude. Because when he came back, it was like 7 years gone. He's kind of the fuck the man type of character. He fit with this brand so well. And if it wasn't for him and Colt Cabana having the history they had, this would have never happened.
That's unfortunate.
I mean, honestly, like I love Colt. I love Punk. But if they were great friends, it never would have divided Punk with Hangman, the Bucks, all of that. It all came from the relationship of Punk and Colt Cabana.
Yeah. And you know what? You have to wonder if this whole William Regal story that broke tonight is true. That's got to limit his chances of going back to WWE.
WWE is a corporate machine. If the money's there and the conversation goes well, Punk will be there. But it's
all
not.
I gotta say,
I don't think it's going to happen. But
sign him.
Yeah, and
sign him. Do it.
He has history with Endeavor.
Sign him up.
Yeah.
I
would.
Sign him up.
WWE, I would have him open Raw tomorrow night.
Dude, I'll say this though.
He ain't gonna be happy there.
A zebra doesn't change his stripes.
Yeah, but then again, he never had issues in WWE. His issue was with management. It wasn't with other wrestlers. It was
with Triple H.
It was management.
No, there's WWE is a lot better at AEW at keeping their bullshit in house.
I love Punk, man, but he's always going to have issues.
Yeah.
There's always going to be something that he's not happy with.
Yeah. That is
true.
That's his life, though. That's not just wrestling for him. You look at the story of his life, that's his life. He's not happy.
He's driven by confrontation. You know, that's kind of what drives him. And that's what a lot of people love about him, you know? Like,
yeah.
I wish it could have worked out, but
it says it seems like CM Punk. I can't remember who said it, but they were like, it seems like CM Punk has a me against the world attitude.
He does.
And that is a terrible, toxic attitude to carry on you at all times.
Listen, we know somebody who trained with him, and he said even back then he would talk to you, waiting to go at you, waiting for you to say something that he could fight with you. So,
Right.
and that's just his personality. And I guess when you're brought up the way he was brought up with the,
Well, I
you know.
mean, you guys have known people, you know people in relationships, and they kind of feed off of drama. Love Punk, man, but he feels like, and I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing in certain ways. I feel like he's one of those guys. He needs a little bit of real life adversity to kind of get him fired up. And that's what we love about him, is he brings some of that into his promos. He brings some of that edge, but he went a little too far, man. If the reports are true where he lunged at Tony Khan, the Jungle Boy shit, when it was just the Jungle Boy stuff, I was like, come on, guys, like, be men and let's do it. Just get over it. Let's do it. But if you're lunging at your boss, at that point, like, you're an idiot, man. You can expect to be fired.
Like, we have our buddy here, old fat guy BMX. I can tell you more places that Punk left with issues than I can't.
Yeah.
He's a tortured soul, and he's speaking from firsthand experience. So,
yeah.
Also, Tom, I was sitting here thinking, CM Punk did have issues with WWE wrestlers. What do you mean?
like, I don't remember breaking
Ryback
Well,
had
nobody
issues,
likes
had
Ryback.
issues with Ryback. Yeah,
Nobody likes Ryback.
that's true. That's a good point.
Come on.
He had issues with Matt Hardy, which is why Matt Hardy and
I
Reba
didn't.
Hardy always take jabs at him on. I remember when Brawl Out, her post on TikTok were nuts.
Before I jumped on, not to change the subject off of CM Punk,
No, yeah.
but before I jumped on, I heard Tom burying Tony Khan about this. I want to hear your guys' take on Tony Khan speaking on Collision and giving what were your guys' thoughts on that?
Well,
I
I'll
just
go first since you already heard Tom shit all over him. I think it was a good thing. I understand why he did it for multiple reasons. For one, you have to address that Chicago crowd in CM Punk's hometown. There's a lot of talk going around on the internet right now that he's a weak leader. He's a coward. He's not going to do anything. And like you said in the GC, it takes a lot of balls to go out in front of a Chicago crowd and do what he did.
Yeah,
I think he's trying to establish some sort of strength there and try to show people that, all right, I think I can be a leader.
Maybe he should have just done it live. I don't think it belonged on Collision or on TV.
It's a good way to make sure everyone sees it.
Look, man, when you hear Tony Khan sitting in a fold out chair at the top of the ramp and he's just talking about fearing for his life, fearing for his safety,
That shit was a little.
I get it.
What he said was
there's a little bit of a cringy, like, come on, man, you're being over dramatic. But we're talking about a pretty buttoned up billionaire's son, nerdy guy with a guy. People want to talk about how CM Punk got his ass whipped in UFC twice, but the fact of the matter is he got his ass whipped by guys who had trained.
Yeah.
CM Punk is a trained fighter. He trains at Duke Rufus Sport in Milwaukee. That's as legit as it comes when it comes to a mixed martial arts camp. The guy knows some moves. He knows infinitely more moves than Tony Khan. So I can see why Tony Khan would feel threatened. So I don't hold that against Tony. I think, dude, you put Tony in a spot where what else is he going to do, man? If he doesn't say something at the beginning of that show, he looks even more of a chicken shit coward. I think it was big on him to go out in front of not only a crowd, but CM Punk's hometown and say, hey, I fired this guy. Imagine for a second, Vince McMahon at the height of the Attitude Era had to go out in Texas and say, I fired Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like, it takes big balls to do that. I get Tony's a nerd. He's not cool. Everyone wants to pick every little thing apart he does. And I'm the first to say the way he's handled this entire situation was bunk, man. Like, he could have killed this a long time ago if it was handled differently, but he didn't. So this is what we're left with. And he's trying to salvage what he has. I got to tip my cap to Tony Khan for having the balls to be able to do that. That took a lot of guts to go out there and say, "Hey, I fired this dude," regardless of the situation. I think it's very big on him, and it's a step in the right direction.
I mean, listen, like I said, I hope we don't see any more drama. I hope it's done with anybody back there. I don't want to see it. I just want the company to focus on wrestling and move forward. It's the best thing about Punk being gone. It's time to move forward for everybody. Let's forget about this and let's just focus on the wrestling. They put on 2 banger shows in 2 weeks, 2 great pay-per-views. We talked about All In last week. Let's talk about All Out.
Yeah, real quick, one last thing I want to say. I think it would be great for AEW. I think Tony Khan should make up stories in his head and tell individual people different stories. And the first one that Sean Sapp reports on, fucking fire them. Like,
I've been saying it. These contracts should come with NDA clauses in them. And if you go to the dirt sheets, you should be fired instantly, because everyone, here's the thing real quick, Tom, and I'll let you get into All Out. But the last thing I have to say about all of this, like people leaking shit, everyone wants to compare Tony Khan to Vince McMahon right now. Well, Vince wouldn't have done that. Well, Vince would have stood up and said that. When Vince was running this company, social media didn't exist.
True.
When Vince was running WWE and stories like the Wrestling Observer or the dirt sheets, the only people that were hearing about the dirt sheet reports were the handful of nerds that subscribed to the newsletters and got them sent to them in the mail. The internet did not exist. The masses did not hear about this. Vince didn't at Vince's young age, when he took it over from Vince Sr., he did not have to deal with mass media scrutiny. It was a very small pocket of wrestling fans that subscribed to these newsletters. So it's a totally different thing, man. It's totally different. I just don't think Vince had to deal with the level of eyes that Tony Khan is having to deal with. So I think it's an unfair comparison to compare the two and where they were at when they started these companies.
It's a great point.
I just cracked myself up in my head. Chad, do you watch Kill Tony?
Yes,
William?
Yes.
I just figured it'd be funny if Tony Khan just came out. He's like, I fired his punk ass.
We have boring banana. AEW shouldn't have fired Punk. They should have turned it into a feud between Punk and Perry. And maybe that happens if he doesn't go at Tony Khan. He's not being fired for what happened with Jungle Boy, with Jack Perry. That's not why he was fired. He physically tried to get at Khan, was telling him he quits and he hated that place. Like, first of all, why did he
asked to quit? The reports say he asked to quit.
Yeah,
like got what he wanted.
Why? Like, I was gonna say something. I just don't understand it. Like why did it take a whole team to come up with they should fire him? If I was the boss, I would have fired him on the spot. If somebody one of my workers came at me, get the fuck out of here. You're trying to come at me and yell at me, and you had to be restrained from coming at me. You need a team to tell you he should be fired.
I'm loving the memes, though. The memes have been great. I like the memes that was like AEW's disciplinary team, and it's the elite.
That was great. That was the best one I've seen.
I respect boring banana and all, but at the same time, like putting Punk in a program with Perry, it's a Band-Aid on a bullet wound.
Yeah. Like, a lot of guys like don't want to wrestle people they have issues with because they have to protect each other in the ring. Like,
dude, the way I look at it, you get him out of there. You get Punk out of he's one guy. The company doesn't succeed and fail on one guy. You get him out of there and we can get back to what we fucking are here for, and that's pro wrestling.
Like the awesome show we had tonight.
Dude, it was incredible. I thought it over-delivered.
Yeah, same thing. We said the same exact thing.
It's funny because you called me a mark earlier without even knowing it, I think, because I was actually more excited for Payback than I was All Out, because because it followed All In. I was like, there's no way it's going to stack up. And it was better than Payback for sure.
Just match quality.
Payback was good. It was better than Payback.
Dude, and they shot angles. The thing I loved about it felt different tonight, because most AEW pay-per-views, I feel like it's usually pretty clean finishes with just cut and dry and we move on to Dynamite. But tonight we got Lana returning with Miro.
Yeah.
And Miro just didn't saddle up next to her. He left,
Right.
which
It's a
made us
state-
think, like, what's going on? And it was a great story to hook me in. And then on top of that, the biggest story of the night for me, fucking MJF and Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
Inject that
so
into my
good.
veins, dude. That was so good.
Dude, I agree. And real quick, since you mentioned it, let's just talk about Hobbs and Miro's match. I never expected them to put on that kind of a match. It was so good. I didn't expect it.
Awesome.
Big, meaty men slapping meat.
It was phenomenal. Like
We had a meat forever chant.
yeah.
It was awesome.
Dude, it was a great match. Did you think these two guys would go and have that quality of a match? Like, I didn't.
I did. That's the match I was most excited for, other than the Bullet Club.
Really?
Match. It was. Wow. I'm not like unironically, I love big meaty men, but you know what I mean?
I gotta be honest. I was kind of nervous about the match because I thought it was a match where I wanted both guys to come out with a win. They've been pushing both guys, and I felt both guys couldn't afford a loss. But they did the best thing where Miro won, and then Powerhouse jumped him after the win, which is the perfect way. And then CJ Perry comes down, and I'm like, that's the perfect ending for this feud. I thought it was brilliantly booked.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's. What he was saying as he was leaving Miro?
No, what was he saying?
He was saying, "You're not real."
Oh,
wow.
So
well, he's been saying the whole he's been. Saying God doesn't exist and his wife doesn't matter. The thing that I popped huge for, though, me and Sneed were here watching it, and the music hit, and we look at the Contron, and it just says "hot and flexible." And my first thought was like, "Who the fuck is hot and flexible?" And then as soon as CJ Perry walked out, I'm like, "Of course!"
Yeah.
If you've listened to the flagship on Thursdays on TurnbuckleTavern.com. We have been calling for CJ Perry to come to this company for probably 2 years now. And the fact she came out tonight, we popped huge for it.
Dude, I popped for it. And I love that it was like I finally had given up on her coming, and then boom, here she is.
Yeah.
I think that makes it even better when you're not hoping for something anymore and then it happens. But let's back up and start at the beginning of the show. We start with Better Than You, Baby. This, like, where are they going with this next story of MJF? Like, obviously, they're saying it's hurting from his match last week with Adam Cole. Like, there's seeds for that. Like, what is that leading to? Is that going to lead to the split between MJF and Adam Cole?
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I was thinking that the neck thing had a lot to do with Samoa Joe's finisher. But once that stuff happened.
He had the ice on the neck after the match last week in
that too.
So it's just interesting. Like you said, they planted little stories across the whole show tonight. It reminded me more of Collision, like an episode of Collision. So
I think hopefully there's no end in sight to this Better Than You, Baby. Because I truly think, I'm not saying it's as good, but I'm thinking for AEW, this is AEW's bloodline. Yes. So the longer they can stretch this out and interweave all these stories, and I think they're laying a lot of like subplots to this story that are really good. Like we've got the Kingdom, we've got Roddy Strong, who I was never a Roddy Strong fan, but dude, the stuff Roddy Strong has been doing lately has been popping me huge with this neck brace and this whiny character. I love it. I love the Samoa Joe angle. I think this is all gearing up for MJF versus Samoa Joe at Grand Slam Arthur Ashe. I think that's where we're building. I think
so too. And I can't wait to see it. I love this push that we're getting to see from Samoa Joe. Like, I know Hawk's dumb in a group chat and he's like, "Oh, I don't like the Samoa Joe stuff." Like, then why? How do you watch this if you're not loving what Samoa Joe is doing right now? Just push this guy. He's so good.
I wouldn't be surprised if he emerges as some sort of locker room leader. It kind of looked that way.
Oh, he's definitely. They said that he was the leader in the whole scuffle that happened at All In. He was the guy that stood up
and convinced Punk to go out and do the match.
Yep.
He gives me that stoic Undertaker vibe to begin with, like as far as like his demeanor.
Good call, Frames.
But how about this? Can you imagine this whole thing happens last week and they don't change the ending to the match? They still have Punk go over after everything that just happened.
Dude, the thing I loved about this is like, this is what we've been calling on for a long time of like, put these guys like Samoa Joe. I agree with Ace. Samoa Joe versus MJF is money. This is what we want. I want new, fresh blood at the top of the card with these heavyweight titles. Like I want Samoa Joe up there. I want Miro. Like we want these guys. So when he came out and MJF was walking up the ramp, you know, holding his neck, and Samoa Joe's music hit, I was like, yes. I threw my hands up in the air. I was like, this is awesome. And he does the shove a la NXT 2014, 2015, whenever it was. But I'm all in on MJF versus Samoa Joe. And boring banana, I get it, man. You're kind of hating a little bit, but you said Samoa Joe is twice the size of MJF. Who gives a shit? It's pro wrestling. Who cares, dude? That's what it's all about, man.
Yeah,
I'm not
Rey Mysterio won the Royal Rumble once.
Yeah, who cares? Who cares that's the story, is that he's this big monster. I love that. I'm here for it.
You know where I think they dropped the ball just a little bit? I thought MJF was going to come out and cost Joe the title.
Yeah.
And now think of how mad that would have made Samoa Joe.
That's where I was. That's what I wanted. I wanted Samoa Joe to drop that TV title to Shane Taylor. Shane Taylor one is completely he's deserving of that title. One, but two, it's like if you completely, I was hoping they would completely cut Joe off from ROH and have him fully enter the heavyweight division in AEW with no attachment to that belt anymore.
Yeah. I agree. I definitely agree.
Which, I mean, MJF and Adam Cole aren't even cut completely off of ROH.
That's true.
That is true.
They could technically have a Samoa Joe MJF match on ROH, and it would make sense.
Yep. So next match, we get Luchasaurus versus Darby. Another great
This match exceeded my expectations, actually.
Yeah.
I love the way they booked this. The way that, let's be honest, Luchasaurus just manhandled Darby. It was awesome. It was great.
Yep.
Yep. I mean, Luchasaurus looked good. He threw him around like he was nothing. There was a couple of moves in there. I was like, holy shit. And Darby doesn't get enough credit for his selling. So good. He's highly underrated for how good he sells. Like
me and Steve were talking about this too, is like the thing with Darby that's crazy, as much as a just complete daredevil he is, and he throws his body around, you rarely see him busted open. Like to see him covered in blood was it took me back. Like we don't see this that often with Darby, as far as him covered in blood.
You know what's funny? And you guys may laugh at me for this and be like, okay, you're reading too much into stuff. You know how I knew Darby was going to lose that match?
How?
Because Sting wasn't at ringside. And like they want to protect Sting so bad at that company.
Oh yeah. He's undefeated.
Yeah. They don't want to have Sting because Sting's there not doing anything. So it makes sense. I'm like, oh, Sting's not coming out. He's gonna lose. Yeah. He's got the 12-year-old. Sorry, Nick Wayne's pretty good. I shouldn't talk too much.
12-year-old. Poor Nick Wayne. Oh man.
I think that Nick Wayne and Hook should start a tag team called the Whittle Babies.
I'd be here for that.
The Whittle Babies.
And you know what? I'm glad that Luchasaurus didn't lose it, even though I thought Darby was going to win, because we get to see more of this crap from Christian. And he's the money right now.
I have a feeling, you know who I think is going to end this feud?
Who?
That in the Christian stuff? Fucking Adam Copeland, baby.
Yep.
Oh,
if he's coming, that's coming. Perfect spot.
He's coming, dude.
He's coming. He's definitely coming.
I would push all my. I know we posted something on IG that set the internet wrestling community ablaze, and they were all burying us in the comments that Edge there's no way he's coming to that mud show company. I'm going to go ahead and push all of my chips on the table. I think there's no way he doesn't come to this company.
I agree.
I think he's coming.
And it's going to be sooner than later. It's almost like he probably only has a year in him. That's a year of Edge in AEW, baby.
I could see him showing up at Grand Slam. I could see or as early as Grand Slam and no later than Winter is Coming in December.
And it also could be Wrestle Dream, because if his contract really runs out at the end of September, well, Wrestle Dream's October 1st.
That's true. Could be Wrestle Dream. Could be Full Gear.
Talking about what happened on Collision last night with those little glitches, I wonder if that's related to him, come into the show.
I think that was just technical difficulty.
That was not technical difficulties. If you go back and watch it, you could tell that was planned.
It looked edited for sure.
Yeah, it was edited.
Maybe I thought so too, and then I slowed it down to 0.25 and watched it in slow motion because I thought the same thing. And it could still be editing though, of course, but the glitches were just different angles of the. It's like almost like it was glitching to another camera. But
You gotta bring in Adam Copeland. You just gotta bring him in a big way. Don't announce him. Don't have Tony Khan bring him out. He's a guy you gotta bring him in at an angle. You have to shoot him on a surprise run.
I think they're setting up for it perfectly with this Luchasaurus thing because like it's showing now he's such a monster that the whole locker room is coming out to stop him from destroying Darby. And like who's gonna stop it? Fucking Adam Copeland. That's a big way to bring him in. They're booking Luchasaurus as this absolute monster.
Oh, if the moment Adam Copeland enters this company is into a feud with him and Christian, that's huge.
It's massive.
That's massive.
Yeah, I'm here for it. I can't wait to see him in AEW.
And that's why I posted that thing. I posted the meme of, it's easy to shit can CM Punk when you know you have Edge about ready to debut. Yeah. Like the reason I posted that, man, if there's not a better trade-off in wrestling, you've got this one guy who's a great leader. CM Punk's a great leader to the people that want to be led by him, but he's also a bit of a toxic cancer in the locker room. Talk about switching out for a guy that has never had a negative word said about him. If you want a supreme positive influence locker room leader in this company and you bring Edge in, that to me is you've won in the trade.
Yeah.
If you're trading Edge for CM Punk, and I love both. I love CM Punk. I love Edge, but as far as just like harmony in the locker room, I feel like you couldn't ask for a better guy than Edge.
AEW, if they get Edge, they will have signed everyone that's banged Lita. CM Punk, Matt Hardy, Edge.
CM Punk banged Lita too?
That's why he had issues with Matt Hardy in WWE.
I didn't know that. That's hysterical.
Lita was a fox back in the day, man. She's still a fox.
Yeah, man. She hasn't really aged at all. She still looks like Lita.
She's great.
What do we got next? We move on to I have to hit page 2 to get the next match. Okay, we get Miro versus Powerhouse Hobbs. We already covered this a little, but great match. Great to see CJ show up. I can't wait to see where this feud goes next. Like the storytelling here. It was just so good seeing him get attacked and Miro being confused. I loved everything they did in this match.
That's the first match I'm gonna go back and rewatch.
Wow,
big.
I liked it that much,
dude. When they were just doing the spots of hitting the ropes and throwing the double clotheslines on each other and testing each other's strength, like this was awesome. And CJ was just a cherry on top.
Yeah, I bet she's already on Feet Finder too, man. She came out barefooted. And then the backstage report shows her putting her shoes on. Those feet freaks they're popping off right now.
Question for you guys.
Yeah.
Where does this go? What's the story? Because, she came out to Miro's aid, hit Powerhouse with the chair. It looks like the feud with Powerhouse is not over because, it's continuing. But throw the Powerhouse Miro feud out the window for a second. Where are we going with CJ and Miro? What's the story here?
I have no idea.
I have no clue, but they've got me wanting to tune in to see on Collision next week.
Maybe we'll get a Miro versus CJ Perry match. And
I think it's cool. I think it's cool because Miro, he denounced God. He denounced his wife. He said he was by himself. And I like that they're bringing back CJ Perry, but she's got to work back into his good graces. And I think once you get both of these guys together, CJ and Miro, I think it's going to be a surge to the main event scene, man. I think we're going to see them run through the mid card a little bit, but I think this combo, people forget the Rusev-Lana combo in the beginning was absolute money. If they can recreate that in AEW, I think it's going to be great.
Dude, I hope they play it off where they're not together for a while, so then when they finally come together, the crowd goes nuts. Like that'd be perfect. That would just friggin' be perfect. Okay, let's go on to the next match, which was the TBS champion Chris Statlander versus Ruby Soho.
I thought this match over delivered, dude. I thought it was a banger.
I thought so too. I
guess
Chris
I'm
Statlander's
just
a great worker
tired.
and Ruby's a great worker, and they went out there and they put on a match. And again, we got more story in this match.
Yeah, it's like, where's the Outcast go? I'm just tired of the Outcast. I'm kind of glad that's ending.
This is leading to the end, which I think they realized, hey, we got to move on from this. We couldn't do anything more. And it's building story out of it because Tony Storm taking the spray paint can from her, it was just, I loved it. I just,
Listen,
finally.
My friends that watch the show keep calling me sexist, but this was my least favorite match of the night. It was okay. It was good. It was fine.
I wasn't big on the Kingston match. I thought it went long.
Yeah, that was, yeah, that's next. Let's see. Was that the next match? Let's see what's next. We got
still good. Both matches were, I want to say both matches were good. I want to see matches like Chris
I don't think there
Statlander.
was a bad match on the card, to be honest.
There wasn't.
I just want to see matches like Chris Statlander and Jade Cargill again, or like some of the really, really good. Honestly, Mercedes Martinez is great. Like,
I know. The one thing I liked about the Ruby Soho Chris Statlander match is that it wasn't just a match for a match's sake with a clean finish. Like, you had shenanigans going on with Tony Storm coming out from under the ring. You had dissension in the Outcast, which is good because it's story. I mean, we can be sick of the Outcast, that's fine, but they're building story to show this breakup. That's what the division needs. And I felt like that was a microcosm of the entire night. I feel like this whole roster and the way Tony booked the night, I got to feel like he booked some of this after the CM Punk firing, because it felt to me like this entire event came in with a chip on its shoulder, like showing like, we don't need this fucking guy. You guys say we don't have story. Well, right now we're going to lay a bunch of story out tonight.
And it shows too, because we had a very, very, very minimal CM Punk chance. I think I heard it once.
Yeah,
when the Young Bucks came out. That's about it.
I heard none. The only time I heard the Punk chants were the Young Bucks, and it was very slight.
Right, yeah, it was very faint. That's the only ones I heard, I think, was during that.
Hey, that goes to show you.
Even on 0 hour, I didn't hear any.
Looking at it this way, if this brings the whole AEW locker room together, and we don't have to hear CM Punk chants during any other wrestling shows ever again when he's not there, it'll all work out for the best.
Give it a year, and when they're in Chicago again, you'll probably hear them a little bit more. But I think right now, while it's fresh, a lot of people are kind of like sick of it as well.
And I think people forget, man. Chicago was behind the push for All Elite Wrestling long before Tony Khan ever jumped in. Yeah. When they did 2018 All In Chicago, those people were here for a change. They were here for an alternative outside of WWE. That was long before CM Punk ever attached himself to this company. I think they remember that. They know that it's good to have a company. People can shit on this company all they want. All the Fed brain people can shit on AEW all they want. The fact is, AEW existing with or without Punk is a good thing for all of the pro wrestlers out there. It's good. You should want this company to succeed.
Do you think WWE is where they are right now if AEW doesn't exist? Hell no.
No.
Hell no. Oh no, they got AEW to thank for making their show better. 100%. Sorry,
AEW forced them to step up. And if you're someone that, if you don't believe that, you're an idiot.
Yeah, it's like, the same.
Yeah, fucking dumbass losers.
It's a drastic change. It's a drastic change.
Yeah.
So we go move on to Bryan Danielson making his return against Ricky Starks in a strap match. Holy shit,
dude, this was awesome.
Can I tell you one thing they misstepped on, in my humble opinion? All right, and you guys are gonna be like, at first you're gonna disagree with me. I think eventually you might agree with me. See, Bryan Danielson's entrance music, right? Came out to the Final Countdown as ROH. If he would have came out to Steamboat's first WWF entrance, which also happens to be the same entrance that the '90s Chicago Bulls used.
Oh yeah,
that would have popped that fucking building so fucking hard.
That Final Countdown, though, man,
it was good. It's still good.
So it's only the second time he's used that in AEW.
Yeah,
saves it for big moments.
But I had it like in my head. I was like, I wonder if he's going to come out to the Down, 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 down. It's
Yeah.
freaking epic.
I mean, I don't hate that either, Freems. But holy smokes, this match raised Ricky Starks even more.
It
Like
did.
for all the doubters and people who say, "Oh, I don't really see it in him." Like,
I mean, he's probably the best heel in AEW right now.
He's
'Cause-
legit, man.
'cause MJF's not a heel. So
The one thing that I feel like Collision has done the best is present him on a main stage.
yeah.
Like the way the camera choices they've made to shoot his entrance, the way they shoot him when he's up on the turnbuckle and the fireworks shoot off and the Controns in the background and the music's playing. Dude, it's epic, man. The way he is one of the first talent that I've seen production get behind and be like, okay, from a production standpoint, we need to elevate him. Like
Yeah.
the production of his character has made him seem bigger just by the camera shots they choose on Ricky Starks. I feel so bad for Ricky, man. It's like every time he gets in a program, he gets shit on. Like, and I think he stepped up to the challenge on
You know
this.
what this current run? You know who he reminds me of in this current run?
who?
Young Hill Rock.
Yeah.
Okay, absolutely.
Modern version, of course, but
To,
Yeah.
to prove Chad's point, though, my wife tonight, as we're watching a pay-per-view and that match is getting ready to come on, she's like, "I didn't miss Starks' entrance yet, did I?" She loves his entrance.
It's the
Yeah.
best.
Yeah.
I love that theme song too.
It feels so big and just epic. And
His entrance, he reminds me of I know you guys probably don't watch anime, but he reminds me of an anime villain when he comes out with his little pose and like the music. Like,
Uh,
and he does the kisses his wrists and puts him up
Mhm.
to the beat of the music. It's so great.
yeah, it
He's
is.
gr- he's great.
He's another one. He's got his finger on the pulse and
Yeah.
knows what's going on.
and he can
It's like
wrestle his
MJF.
ass off.
Mhm.
They're so young, but they get it, and that just like makes you excited for the future.
I
Makes
think
me excited.
AEW wants they're courting him right now because his contract's coming up in the next, I think, year or so.
Yeah,
And I think they're
December.
they're trying to prove to him, we see you as a big deal. And they had him in a big program with CM Punk. And a part of me thinks they were going to give him the Real World's Championship.
And allegedly that was supposed to be the main event tonight.
Right. So it's like, I feel for him because AEW is trying to show him like, dude, we believe in you. We think you're one of the next big stars. And every time they get a little bit of a push behind him, something outside of their control happens and they have to kind of recalibrate.
And you know what the best thing is? He referenced that last night on Collision.
Yep. It was a great promo. Phenomenal.
Great promo. And you know what? Do you think Starks gets to this point where where he believes that they see him as a star without Collision?
No, because I mean,
Stage, it gave him the time to shine.
yeah,
And they
that's
saw
not
that
even. I
start
don't even know
again.
if I would. Not saying that you were. I don't even know if I would credit that to CM Punk even. I mean, other than the fact that's who he's in a storyline with, because I'm starting to feel like people might give Punk too much credit on what happened on that show as well. Like, there's a lot of hands involved in that show.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think him shining, and he would have shined in any story. That's just who he is. He was just given the time finally.
Whoever was behind the booking of that show, though, the brain trust of Collision definitely had Ricky Starks pegged as a guy they wanted to push.
And we know Punk loved him, and we know Danielson loves him.
Very well could have been Punk, but that's where I was going with it, because I know Danielson has been very hands-on with Collision as well.
That's the one thing I'm worried about with Collision. I got to be honest. I do not want Collision to just go to Dynamite booking.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to stay exactly the way it was,
Like,
with the wrestlers they've been using.
Yeah, Collision looks different. You know, we all know it looks different, but it feels different because the booking felt different. So I just don't want them to go completely away from the way they were booking Collision because it was working for me. I thought it was great.
You know what, though? Ace, I kind of feel like that whole thing was an afterthought because once it got to him and MJF fighting, he was just off TV again for a while. It's like, what could we give MJF to fill in the time before we start? I forgot who his next feud was even with.
Well, that to me, like Ace saying that, I agree. They put him in that MJF feud, but when they put him in that feud, we knew the way that was structured, it was going to be a very short feud. It wasn't a long-term feud. And I look at that as, yeah, that does show a little bit of trust from the company. But what that also shows is that's one of those things that Ricky Starks was talking about in his Collision promo this, last night, is that every time I'm giving something, it's taken away from me. Like, he was given this, 3-4 week push where he cuts this unbelievable promo with MJF, and then it's, he loses. Like, we talked about, like, they screwed that build up because remember, they rolled, it was a title match and a Dynamite Diamond Ring match, and they rolled both into the one match where we were saying at the time he should have lost, not won the title, but he should have got the Dynamite Diamond Ring.
Yeah.
But they rolled him into both. So I think that's one of those missed opportunities. They see something in him, obviously, but I don't think they've ever pulled the trigger fully on Starks yet.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think we're starting to see it now, finally. Again, if they did, like, he wouldn't have went off TV as long as he did after the whole MJF story. And that was a frustrating thing because we saw how good he was then.
Was it the MJF's first title defense?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, so like it's like going into it, you knew MJF was going to win. Like everyone knew there was no way that belt was coming off of MJF.
Right. It was, he was booked into a spot where it's like, man, it's kind of how I felt about Hobbs and Miro tonight. I'm like, I don't want either one of these dudes to lose, man. I want them to both roll.
Where like the current Stark storyline is, best word for it is, it's compelling. Where the MJF feud was not that compelling.
And they keep Starks protected by having him pass out and not tapping. Yeah. I thought that was a beautiful way to end the match.
Great way.
Whatever happens next, I think he needs to go over, though.
Yeah, and I think he will. And I think they know that because I don't think that whole story's over.
But, I mean, being in a feud where you beat the shit out of Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, feud with CM Punk, and then go to Bryan Danielson immediately after in a fucking strap match on his return, that's a lot more of a sign of, like, yeah, you're one of our guys.
Yeah, no, there's no shame in losing to the Dragon, Danielson.
You're talking about the guy who's been since joining AEW, the run he's been on, the matches he puts on week after week. Holy smokes. But all right, let's move on. The next match we get is Eddie Kingston and Shibata versus Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta. We mentioned it a little bit before.
Yeah, it was
good. I felt it ran long.
It was a mid-card match. It felt like a mid-card match.
It was only the only match that kind of felt like a mid-card match tonight.
I like the Eddie Kingston came out in the what did it say? Who sucks eggs?
Oh yeah, the Terry Funk.
Yeah.
Claudio sucks eggs.
Claudio sucks eggs. Yeah, that was great.
That was a good little tribute there. But you move on to the next match.
I don't think AEW fans care about Shibata either.
No.
I love Shibata. I think Shibata's awesome. It's just the match felt long to me. It just felt long.
I don't feel like the people in that stadium, a lot of people knew who he was.
Well, they didn't give us a reason to.
Right. That's fine. It was a good match.
Well, he's been built on ROH. You know, Tony has a habit of thinking, everyone's watching everything. It's not always the case.
No.
But that being said, the wrestling in the match was very
phenomenal.
Good.
It was great.
Yeah, very good.
Real quick, what would you guys think if they did on Dynamite or Collision every week, like a minute recap of what happened on Ring of Honor that week? To keep people
smart. It'd be a smart way to get people to go watch it.
It'd be smart.
Yeah, I was just thinking of that because I don't follow it week to week, but I would love to get a minute or two update or just to see what's going on. So I know.
Even if they ran a ticker on the bottom.
Exactly. They used to do that for Dark.
Yeah, even if they ran a ticker or they gave us the update on Collision or Rampage.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Rampage. That'd be a perfect spot to do it as well.
I want to throw this in again real quick, too. I meant to say it when we were talking about the match. Bryan Danielson again, real quick. Do you guys think that Nigel McGuinness is going to wrestle him?
Yes.
I do, too.
Eventually, yes.
It was supposed to happen at All In. And did you hear McGuinness tonight saying, oh, he's cleared this week?
Yeah, he always cleared this week. Old Brittle Danielson.
Yeah, something's there. Something's there.
Have you seen the picture? The picture he posted on Instagram of he's in fighting shape, dude. Dude is buff.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
I made it the background on my phone. He's so buff. Anyways, we'll go to the next match.
Takeshita and Omega. Holy smokes!
This was awesome.
Yeah,
I think this might be my match of the night.
It's not mine, but it's up there. It's up there.
This was a great match, man.
I love Takeshita. He got to shine tonight. He went over Omega. I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
You tell
Shows
Omega
how Kenny
respects
thinks
the
of him
hell out
putting
of
him over
that
2
dude.
weeks in a row too.
Wait, what is it, Tom? Sorry.
I said with Ken, it shows you how much Kenny thinks of him to put him over 2 weeks in a row.
We
with
said,
a singles
we
match.
said the same thing at the same time, basically.
Ah.
I was just like, you could tell he respects the hell out of that dude.
They're so good, and I could watch them wrestle just like Omega and Ospreay. I could watch him and Takeshita wrestle every week.
You know what I've realized? What makes Kenny Omega matches with like his match with Okada and his match with Takeshita, what makes them so good is there's no weapons, or there's weapons sometimes and stuff, but even if there's no weapons, it just looks, sounds, and feels painful.
Yep.
Yeah.
Those knees, they sound like they're connecting hard as shit. Like everything just looks like it hurts so bad. And you're just like, oh my, and like you get adrenaline watching it almost.
Great near falls too.
Great near falls. I'm
Great
usually kind
near
of like
falls.
iffy on near falls, but when it's an Omega match versus any of the other great Japanese dudes, it seems like so perfect. Young
And
Bucks,
honestly, man, like the thing that needs to be said, people like casual fans, hardcores, I feel like are tapped in, but casual fans need to put some fucking respect on Takeshita's name.
I agree.
Honestly, dude, every time he's on a card, I feel like you hear all these naysayers come out. Dude, this guy he has main event potential to me.
I agree.
Like he is legit. He's got the frame of a top tier guy. Yeah, he's Japanese. Yeah, he can't speak English. He's not going to cut these promos in the ring. But they did the next best thing for the guy and put him with Don Callis. Like he is a legit heel guy right now. He should be a threat at the top of the card. I love Takeshita. We've been blowing Takeshita up on the flagship for months now because he just has, in my opinion, he has the it factor. And now that they've thrown him with Don Callis, sky is the limit for this kid. I think he's incredible. And all these haters that just every time he's in a match, they poo-poo Takeshita. Nah, man. He's the real deal.
I was talking to my buddy about Takeshita the other day, and I was like, he is what you get if Rey Mysterio would have been built a big guy, because they've been wrestling since they were 12.
Yeah.
Like they know the business. There's like when you learn stuff when you're 12, it's ingrained in your brain in a different way.
Yeah, it's muscle memory.
Yeah. And that's what Takeshita is. So I think he's gonna go on to have an amazing career.
I do too, man.
Takeshita should be the one to beat Moxley for the international title.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. I would be so behind that.
I'm 100% behind that. That was what a match that was. Next match was the 8-man tag. Another great match.
God,
Another great match. Man, I told you, I don't even know if I've said this to you, Chad, but when I was watching the Bullet Club Gold on Dynamite, I didn't really get them. I'm like, why are these guys here? How are these guys main event guys? And then you watched them on Collision. Totally different. It's like these guys can't miss TV every week.
Yeah.
I think I said it like 2 or 3 weeks ago on the flagship. My brain is foggy. On the wrap up, I think they're even when CM Punk was still there, they're my favorite thing in AEW right now.
Yeah,
like,
I think Juice Robinson.
Ace just typed it as I was saying.
There you go. Ace knows. I think Juice Robinson right now, he is working harder than anyone in this company. Yeah. Anyone. I don't care. Throw up MJF, Mox, anybody. Juice Robinson. If you like Macho Man Randy Savage and you don't like Juice Robinson, what is wrong? This dude is all in on his character, dude. I love Juice. This is a throwback to 80s over-the-top wrestling characters. I'm such a big fan of Juice Robinson, and I love Bullet Club Gold.
They remind me of everything I liked about DX, everything I liked about NWO, like all the things that I liked about them. They are only that with none of the bad.
Yeah.
They're great. They're phenomenal.
I'm just waiting for the Bullet Club, Japanese Bullet Club, to come in and confront them. I'm just kidding. Sorry. It's a jab at Hawk, who doesn't watch the show.
I love One, I think with Juice Robinson, you got this over the top character. With Jay White, you have a main event level guy coming from New Japan, waiting in the wings, center of attention in Bullet Club Gold. And then you have the Gun Club, who I don't get the stigma of people still continuing to hate on these guys. If you listen to the flagship, me and Sneed have been beating the drum of the Gun Club for a long time. They sell better than almost any tag team in the division. They're over the top. They own their characters. These are the type of guys you want to see in a tag team division. I think they kill it every week. This match was awesome. And I loved seeing FTR and Young Bucks kind of trying to figure it out and tag team together. I thought there was a lot of fun story here.
There's a great story here. Them even hitting each other's moves and with each other. Like, it was so good. All for the sharpshooter with all four of them getting him in and it was so perfect, everything they did. And the best part is Bullet Club won.
I love it. It was a shocker. I loved it.
That's who I wanted to win too.
I wanted to win. Like I said, Bullet Club, probably my favorite thing in wrestling right now. I love them all. I absolutely love them all. And I agree with what Ace said about Juice. I love somebody who loves where they are and what they're doing. And you could tell that's what Juice does. Like, he does. Like, that makes me be a bigger fan of anyone.
If you guys don't mind if I get into some silly shit real quick.
No, let's go.
Hawk already got, like, because we have a group chat, right? You guys don't know that watching. We have a group chat. Hawk got this conspiracy stuck in my head. And I was like, all right, if it's all a work, we're going to find out right here. This would be the only spot where it makes sense. And I fantasy booked it. And I was like, all right, FTR, Young Bucks lose. They start brawling or whatever. Maybe Omega comes out. And then fucking CM Punk comes out. And then we get CM versus the Elite. That would have been fucking... everyone would have popped for that if that would have actually happened. But I didn't think it was going to happen. But I was like, that would be an awesome way to do that. But anyways.
But the beauty I love about this, though, is this match at All In with the Bucks and FTR, that match was set up to essentially be just a third match in their trilogy. And we're moving on to the next thing.
They're going to fight again.
Dynamite, it continued. We got that behind the scenes at All In. They have that confrontation. We line up this match for All Out. And then they lose, and you see Nick Jackson on the outside saying, it's my fault. I wasn't there in time. You know, they were all taking fault. I like it because it seems like this story isn't over.
Yeah.
Keep the stories rolling, man. Keep them rolling.
I have a feeling what's going to happen is Bullet Club's going to come out next week, and they're going to just be so braggadocious that this match is actually going to happen again. The same exact match is going to happen again. And there's going to be a lot of fighting.
I needed to mention it, but what about Dax versus Jay?
Yeah.
Yeah. We were talking about how awesome Bullet Club is. Also, Jay White is the one person on that whole roster that looks like he would actually murder somebody in real life.
Oh yeah. I love Jay White.
And just calling himself the Bang Bang Gang. What a fun friggin' name. I just love that for some reason. So
I gotta get a Bullet Club shirt. I have to. They're so awesome.
So we head to the main event. I think they made the right choice for the main event. Mox
this was the only choice for me.
Chad, I need you to sell me why it was good for Mox winning, because I don't think he needed the win.
Because it doesn't hurt Juice to get the title taken off of you by Mox.
No, it doesn't, but think what it would have meant if he beat Mox.
Yeah, but now someone can take the title from Mox and it doesn't make Mox look bad.
This is why it's the right choice.
Okay. I know you're going to convince me, because you could convince the Pope to have sex.
I've done it.
Orange won 31 defenses in a row. That dude's reign is solidified. Let's be honest. Like, it's solidified. So the only thing you had left to do was give that belt to the right guy. Now, a lot of times with like title changes, we get in our head, especially with like a Roman Reigns, when you get to that level, you're thinking, okay, he needs to make a guy. You need to lose this title to a guy to make a guy. I feel like that wasn't what the international title needed. I feel like the international Orange Cassidy made that belt.
Yeah.
31 title defenses. It's the workhorse title. He made that title feel important. 31 defenses. So you didn't need, if he were to lose that title to, say, Powerhouse Hobbs or some other rising mid-card guy, I feel like it would have been a step down.
Yeah.
You needed him to lose that title to someone who was more elevated than him.
Yeah, and
I
also
feel
let's
like-
say, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah,
Let's say
by
someone
him
like-
losing it to Mox, a former world champion, it to me, it makes that title feel like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like the only guy that could beat Orange for this belt was a guy who's already held the world title. It's not about, I agree, Tom. Mox did not need that title, but that title needed Mox.
Right.
Okay.
I feel like that's the way Mox did not need that title, but the title needed Mox.
Let's say let's take this for example, Tom. Let's say the Takeshita, for example, is going for the title. Does he look stronger winning it from Orange, or does he look stronger winning it from Mox?
It's a good
He
point.
looks stronger beating Mox for that title.
Of course. Anybody looks stronger beating Mox.
It just keeps that title so fucking elevated, Tom. Like now that, you know, if he would have lost it to anyone in the mid card, it would have been a step down after 31 defenses. Like after 31 defenses, you had to lose it to a big guy.
That's a great point.
The only other guy I could have seen him losing that to, and I would have been okay with it, would have been Hangman, another former world champion. Like you had to pass that on to a guy whose stature would elevate that belt. I'll be honest, man. I think that belt right now for me might be one of the more important titles in pro wrestling, period.
100%. It reminds me of the Intercontinental title back in the 80s.
I'm sitting here thinking it's wild how important all the AEW belts feel right now.
Yeah.
Because Christian's got a good storyline with the TNT title. MJF, that belt looks stronger than shit right now.
Luchasaurus and Christian have completely rehabilitated the TNT title for me.
Oh, yeah. My favorite thing Christian did, though, was when he came out with Punk and he said, "What are you doing carrying around the title you didn't win?" As he has.
yeah. That was great.
I also love Nigel McGuinness announcing when he was like, "Oh, here comes Christian, Father of the Year."
Yeah.
He's so good. Dude, Nigel is killing it on commentary.
Yeah, I saw the group chat Hawk shitting on the announcers. I'm like, dude, this
Hawk's an
great.
idiot, though.
I know. We still like to shit on this show because he doesn't watch it.
But I love the story with Orange Cassidy over the last couple of months. As you could tell, he was getting worn out from all his title defenses and getting a little weaker, but still squeaking by. And now all of a sudden he's starting this whole new gimmick. I'm Orange Cassidy and I don't have a catchphrase.
So great.
It's going somewhere even better. I think he's just moving. The only thing I think he would have done that would have been funny is when he threw the chair in the ring the other day. I think he should have just sat on it, folded in the ring, and not even put it together. I'm like, that would have been great. But dude, this dude might be Wrestler of the Year this year for AEW.
I think so too.
The year he had. He doesn't have a bad match either. He doesn't have a bad match. I'm excited for him.
He's. I pause at saying he should go for the world title because I think he's a wrestler that doesn't really need it.
I agree.
Like I don't feel like he needs any title. That's what made the international title reign with him so special. Is I feel like he could have never held a title and still been just as popular. But this international title has just
that cut
shown what he's got.
Cut he got on his head was gnarly.
Dude, you didn't stop bleeding. The whole
did you see how
blood
the cut was though. Whenever it was kind of cleared a little bit, that was a gash there.
Yeah.
Oh, he didn't stop bleeding.
Where does he go? Where do you guys think he goes next?
I think he takes a little time off for a couple of weeks. I don't think it's going to be a long time, and then he'll come back with something. I don't know. I mean, probably eventually a rematch with Mox. I don't know. Maybe he winds up in a tournament to fight
for the world title.
Yeah,
I think Samoa Joe wins that tournament.
I think so too. I think that'll be the main event at Grand Slam, and I'm here for that.
I wouldn't mind seeing Orange Cassidy Starks feud.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
It's a great point too. I'd love to see that. And
I wouldn't mind see Orange and Samoa Joe in the finals for that tournament to go to Grand Slam.
I'd be down for that. Yeah, I don't know. Like, there's so many things you can do with Orange Cassidy. He works with anyone. Like, he's so good. He's just that good. So.
And real quick, like this show overall, I thought this was a great show that over delivered. And if you really boil down this show, think of all the people that weren't on it.
Yeah.
Jericho.
Yeah.
You know, like there were so many people that didn't even pop up on the show, and they still managed to put on a hell of a show.
Yeah.
I want to see Wardlow back. I would actually like to see Wardlow go against Hobbs or Miro after this feud's over, just so we get more meaty men.
But like, what's going on with the booking of Wardlow that they had this guy white hot and they just didn't. I don't know what's going on. Why don't they use this guy? Why does he disappear for months at a time? Even when he
gave an interview where he said he wanted to be back. I just have a feeling like they're waiting on something, because the thing with they're waiting on him for some sort of feud, because if you think about it, he's in a weird spot right now because he's a babyface, but he holds the biggest claim to MJF's belt. I mean, he squashed MJF in a pay-per-view match. So if anyone has a claim to that title, it's Wardlow, but it's murky. If he was a heel, he could come in and feud with MJF, but he's a babyface. So I feel like they're trying to figure out where to place him. I mean, Wardlow is money, dude. If you're not booking him the right way, you're an idiot, because this is a guy who's definitely a world champion for you.
Just have Wardlow come out and beat the shit out of Adam Cole while MJF isn't there. You can turn him heel in one day. That's easy.
Yeah.
With the way MJF's booked right now, of like not being a bit of a coward,
yeah,
he would go at Wardlow, and that'd be a hell of a.
So,
oh man, that'd be awesome.
What are your thoughts, Chad? 3 out of 6 weekends, a $50 pay-per-view. With the Wrestle Dream coming up.
Is it 3 out of 6 weekends?
Yeah, I counted before. It's 3 out of 6 weekends. Got to spread these things out a little further. I said to Freems, like, a pay-per-view in January would have made sense, because we go usually from November to March without one. Like, how do they not add something in January?
Yeah, I mean,
it's just hard not to do those back-to-back pay-per-views, because Tony Khan explained it. Like, that's when they can get Wembley, and then he wants Chicago during Labor Day, because all the banks and everything are closed.
100% Freems. Everybody's bitching about it. Why would you book 2 pay-per-views back-to-back? The reason he booked that is because that's the only fucking weekend he could get Wembley. Do you either take Wembley or you don't take Wembley?
Yeah.
And he could have canceled All Out. Big ups for Tony for not canceling All Out. I think that was, it's shitty that he couldn't do some bundle, but I heard an interview with him. He was like, dude, trying to do a bundle with all the cable providers, satellite providers, getting everyone on the same page to offer a bundle, it's harder than you think, which us as fans, we're like, just make it happen. There's a lot of other elements out there that can't make it happen. He just can't snap his fingers and make it happen.
Yeah.
Now with Wrestle Dream happening in October, I mean, I'm cool with that because it's a month away. I can afford it a month away.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Also, when you're watching it with a friend, you could get all in and he could get all out, so it makes it a little easier.
I'd say give AEW time. They'll be on a streaming site that'll have all of them. I mean,
it's
a growing company.
It's a growing company. 4 years in, not even 5 years into this company.
I'm not bitching, because at one point I was buying a ring, like a $50 Ring of Honor DVD once a month.
Right.
Like on DVD, not even watching it live.
Yeah. I just think we talked, Tom, we've talked about since from the beginning of the Tavern, we've talked about when you get into those stretches in between pay-per-views, sometimes the booking hits a lull.
That's why I think we need a January pay-per-view.
100%. And when I don't want to pay another $50 on the year. Like, I'm not hoping for bigger pay-per-views, but what I will say is bigger events, AEW does tend 3 to 4 weeks out. They're booking hypes up, it heats up.
Yep.
We've always said that. Right now, I think with Wrestle Dream, what's this put them at for an annual pay-per-view? 7 events?
Yeah.
It's
7?
Revolution, Revolution, Double or Nothing, Forbidden Door, All
Full
In,
Gear,
All
Full
Out,
Gear.
Wrestle Dream, Full Gear. So we're at 7 events right now.
Yeah.
7 events in a calendar year. I just hope it keeps the booking hot.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm for it if you keep the booking hot.
Here's the truth. After they look at the buy rates for All In and All Out, they're going to figure out if they need to move out All Out next year. If there's a major dip and they don't get a ton of eyes on it.
Well, I thought Tony already said they've sold enough to justify having it next year.
Okay.
Even at the last media scrum. I thought he already
Well, they
said
booked it for next year. I don't think back-to-back pay-per-views is a good move.
No.
I think he should have moved All In.
Yeah.
If you want All Out to be your Labor Day weekend show, fine, do it. But move All In.
Yeah.
They want All In to be their Mania, and that's cool.
And it felt like it too.
And it felt like it.
I
People
think-
hating on All In are idiots, man.
I
That show
think,
felt
Hating
huge.
on All In.
This is what I took from what Tony Khan said, from the way I understood it. They're going to do All In at Wembley again next year, and if it's as big as last year, it may not always be at Wembley. It might be at another country at their big stadium.
Oh, okay.
It happened whenever MJF was like, I would like it to be, I don't know, at the Aztec Stadium in Mexico.
Yeah,
I would
so-
like to see it be Wembley next year, and then the Aztec Stadium in Mexico City would be epic, dude. Because it's bigger than Wembley.
Yeah.
Like,
Is it really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's bigger than Wembley. Like they could fit like 100,000 in there, maybe.
Wow.
And then give it, if we get Wembley next year, Mexico City after that, give us 3 or 4 years before you bring that big stadium show to the States, and then get the States hungry for a stadium show, and then bring that thing here, and the American fans will show out.
Damn,
Just like we talked
Atlanta would be perfect for that.
On the
man.
debate coming up tomorrow. If you make them clamor for it and want that big show here, you'll sell more tickets if you make them wait.
Yeah,
Yeah.
make them wait.
Also, Aztec Stadium holds 3,000 more people than Wembley.
Damn,
Okay.
nice.
Yeah.
Damn. So any closing thoughts on anything we didn't touch, guys?
I guess the only thing I can say going out on is it was a great show. AEW looks stronger than ever.
I agree. I think a lot of people were down on this show, myself included. The flagship, we were very just kind of skeptical. Like, are you going to be able to pull this off? And, I thought they did. I thought they laid groundwork, and they gave us a little hint of what's to come. And the fact that they shot the angle with Samoa Joe and MJF, the fact they brought CJ Perry and gave us a little tease of what's going on with Miro, like, I had hope for storytelling. And that's my biggest thing. The thing that we always beat the drum of on the flagship is story, man. You can give us all the dream matches and the 5-star matches you want, but if there's no story, none of it matters more, so I felt like I did see a little bit of storytelling there that I'm like, okay, they're coming into this show with a chip on their shoulder. They're coming in proving that, hey, we don't need Phil Brooks. And this is coming from a Phil Brooks guy, man. I love CM Punk, but if it's CM Punk or a wrestling company that I watch every Wednesday, I'm picking that wrestling company every time. I want my wrestling every Wednesday. What's Phil Brooks give me if he's not on a wrestling show? I love the guy, but come on, man, play ball. I'm here for it. I think AEW proved tonight that they don't need one guy, that they're stronger than ever.
Just remember, there's no I in
Yes.
AEW. Right. So, all right. Before we go, guys, theturnbuckletavern.com. If you haven't already followed us everywhere you can, please do. Like, subscribe, leave us a review, leave us a rating on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. It helps so much. Thank you all for joining us. Oops, we're naked. Okay. Until next week, for Chad, for Freems, Belcaster will be back next week. Love, peace, and pro wrestling.